Hello, my dotlings, and welcome to another shameless self-promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge with Dottie the Psychic as your host. Don't forget that you can also check out more of the story on Patreon, where the patrons go to support me, Dottie. You can also check out my website, dottieThepsychic.com. With that being said, let's meet this Shameless Self-Promotions guest. Hello, my dotlings, and welcome back to another episode of Shameless Self-Promotion with Dottie the Psychic on Madame Tortuga's Lounge. And this episode's special guest is
Lisa Diamond, otherwise known as the Crafty Chameleon.
So tell me a little bit about, because I know I have seen your booth. Maybe we can get maybe you can send me some pictures of some of the stuff you've done and we can cut it in here. But I have seen, I know you do like glass painting and you've got some really cool wands and things. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you sell and how we can find them? How can we find the things you're selling?
Well, I am on Facebook and Instagram as the Crafty Chameleon Artist. I started out doing dot mandala art, basically on anything that would hold still. I became obsessed with it. And that gradually moved to the glassware, and I really focused in on that. It seemed like a lot of people enjoyed the wine glasses. And I got away from the canvases, and I missed that. I find that I'm missing that a lot. So I really want to get back to that. But for now, I'm still with the glassware. And then a friend of mine kept bugging me about wanting to do watercolor. You need to do watercolor with me. Come do watercolor with me. Come on, it's fun. And I had tried it in the past and I sucked. I mean, I just made messes. And she said, well, take these YouTube tutorials with me. And so finally I caved in and she loaned me a watercolor palette and some paper and brushes, and I loved it. I actually wasn't bad at it. I didn't suck all of a sudden. And over the next 2 months, I just churned out one after another of these little miniature watercolors. And now I have a stock of watercolor paintings for sale too. Who knew? I'm just crafty that way.
Have you thought about doing prints with those?
You know, I've thought about it, but I'm one of those really cautious people. I don't quite know where to start with it, so I don't really.
You know what? We'll talk about that later because I've got a connection or two, but I ain't getting paid to tell their names on the internet.
Fair enough.
When I get paid to advertise for them, I will. Tell me a little bit about... So, what is your favorite medium? Because I know you've also got these really cool crowns that you do, the stone crowns.
Yeah, that's something that we've gotten into. The crystal crowns and crystal wands. Got into those last year, and they've taken off like hotcakes. Can't keep them in stock. It seems like, and my demographics was completely off. I thought I was making them for adults and, high priestesses, and I had just high expectations for these things. Meanwhile, here comes mom with 7-year-old daughter, and she's like, oh, that's so pretty, mommy.
You
And
know,
I'm making crowns for children now, which is cool, but my demographics was way off on those.
you know
But
what? I feel you there though, because there's definitely been a time and a place where my demographics were like way off. Um, one of the demographics I was shocked that I get are actually like middle-aged men.
that would be surprising for
I
you.
know, right? Psychics, you wouldn't think men at all. Like maybe teenage kids going off and having an adventure, and I get plenty of those. But I get a lot of it's a lot of people who are a little afraid of therapy or a little afraid of the psychiatric field and are less afraid of me. I'm like, I'm more likely to curse you than they are, but not really. Like that's just unprofessional. But I mean, like that's the thought that's the stereotype that somehow I'm less scary than actual mental health.
That's a little
Or
disturbing.
yeah, or more realistic a lot of times. Like they've got more faith in me. I'm like, I have no training, but I do have. I mean, I believe in my spiritual connection, but I also know that there's a lot of scammers out there. I,
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, I'm obviously not a scammer. If you know how to spot a scammer, I'm obviously not one of them. Number one, I never just call people out of I never cold call or cold text anybody, which and I have a reputation in the community and a Google page. So there's a lot of things to look at that would make me look more legitimate. But like
Middle-aged men.
middle-aged men, I get quite a few. And a lot of them, like there are a lot of them that are kind of raised around like mountain folk, people who like kind of already they have more experience with spirituality and people turning cards than they do with professionals.
That
I yeah,
that's wild.
it is. It is wild. Like, and it's more common than you think. It's more common than you think. I'm like, I was kind of shocked. I thought I was gonna get more women and members of the LGBT community because that's kind of what I am, you know. And there's this kind of, I guess it is this kind of trope where we don't expect men to be as superstitious as women, and then like breaking that down it doesn't make any sense that we would think that. There's no reason to believe that a man would be less superstitious than a woman, but that is a trope we think of.
Yeah.
I do love that your wands go to little girls. I'm sorry, I will talk about myself if you give me a chance. Um, I do love that those wands go to little girls though, because they are so colorful. Like you do break out some interesting mediums.
I really enjoyed working with resin and dyed crystals for those. We've got, gosh, I think probably 12 different colors of resin that we use for those. And then the dyed crystals, I find those wherever I can. Some of them are multicolored dyes. It's just whatever appeals to me, really. And I'm part magpie, so if it's sparkly, I'm all about it.
I feel like it is a bit like my first witch kit. You know what I mean? Like when you first get in, you find that thing that is just like it's just everything, just a little bit of everything, like, and it's shiny
Mm-hmm.
because like you do use quite a bit of glitter.
I stay away from glitter. I use because God help me, I've had to clean it up in the past, so I don't want to have to deal with that shit.
Fair enough.
But I stay away from the glitter. But we do work with the multichromatic resin dyes to give
Ah,
it the iridescent shimmers.
that might be what it is because I thought. it does shimmer. Like there's definitely like I do love that you use a lot of light in what you make. Especially I am on about those wands. We're gonna have to get a picture and post up here somewhere. Hopefully you've already seen them, folks, but they are beautiful.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit, because I know you've got the wands and you've got the crowns and you're doing just a little bit of everything. I know that you've got like the little crocheted dolls that you're very proud of too, the little goddess dolls.
Goddess dolls, yeah. We have one. I got a wild hair. We started making them because we thought, you know, there's such a stigma against poppets because they were used poorly for so long by so many people. And puppets can be used in such positive ways.
About to make a puppet of myself and give it a back rub.
I'm telling you,
That off of Facebook.
I'm right there. I'm right there. After this month, it's wearing me out. But you know, you can use them in positive ways. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. So I wanted to put them out there with positive energy, positive thoughts. And so we started making, my friend and I started making goddess dolls. And I got this wild hair one day, and I had this giant yarn, and I made a goddess doll that is 3 feet tall.
I think I saw that one. I think you sold it at one of the events I was at.
Gold,
Yeah.
yarn. Yep, 3 feet tall, squishy. She was lovely.
She was plush.
Very plush.
That's what was calling overweight women. They were plush.
That's right. But, you know, it's just something that we have fun doing. We like trying new things, and sometimes it works with the public, sometimes it doesn't. But it's always going to be something that we enjoy.
I definitely like, because I never know what I'm going to see at your booth. Because I know, were you the one that did the resin runes?
Yes, resin runes, we have those. I like trying new things, and I like learning. You don't get old until you stop learning.
You know what? That's fair.
I turned 55 this year, so I'm not giving up yet.
You look like 45.
Oh, love you. Love you.
So Lisa and I know each other from the road, obviously, because we have traveled in much the same circles, usually to pagan events, which we had a pretty big one down here for the group that we're involved in. And so do you want to talk a little bit about that? Would you like to talk a little bit about how, like, because you and your husband, specifically your husband, played a huge part in that event. Poor guy.
Well, let me clarify one thing. We aren't married.
Oh, sorry.
That's quite all right. We've been together for almost 19 years, so we might as well be. We act like it. But we've, we did Metro Valley Pagan Pride, vroom, not broom, not vroom.
Not
I always get that backwards.
Me too, like dyslexia.
But yeah, it was so great. You did such a wonderful job with that. And Jay got to do the kitchen work, and he loved it. He had a ball
all day long. Like, thank you for the compliment, but honestly, like, it would not have been near the event if it hadn't been for Jay being in that kitchen. Literally from about I think he showed up early, like 9.
8?
Yeah,
8 or 9.
I think it was 9 when everybody started showing up, because that's when the merchants started showing up. Everybody really like hit all the staff, everybody who was there to work the event showed up at 9 o'clock. And so he Yeah, he got right in that kitchen and he just made it happen. And at one point, like there for a while, he was the only one in the kitchen, and I didn't know it because I'm out putting out fires left and right, mostly with the stage. That was the one thing. I was like, okay, next year this is something that I may have to actually have somebody doing, because as like the event head, your job is to fill in the blanks that you forgot to fill before the event.
Right.
And apparently I have I have no idea what to do with entertainment, and because I had no idea what to do with entertainment, I got to do entertainment all day long. Entertainment and running the classes. Like Shannon and I put them together. Shannon was at the desk, so
You got a crash course.
oh, I did. Not even myself. Luckily, one of the singer that day, Anne, had already set up her um stereo equipment. And so she just kind of let us use her stereo equipment. She's like, "Okay." So hopefully next year we can talk her into like being our sound master and having Lady Dior. I'm sorry, I will get that eventually. Have Lady Dior run the stage.
That would be good
That would
because
be good.
Lady Dior did a great job on the mic, I thought.
She's got a lot of practice
Yeah,
and under like hostile situation. Like, but that was a fun event.
it was so much fun and the day was perfect, weather perfect. The crowds were steady, not too crazy. Everyone seemed to be just laughing, having a good time.
It's gonna be even bigger next year because this was our first year. Like this is supposed to be the first. The first year is usually the down year. People haven't even found you yet.
Right. And we had just complete strangers coming in, not even part of the pagan community. They were stopping by because they were walking their dogs in the park and they saw all these tents and they came by and stopped to see what was going on. And we told them, and oh, really? And we had a lady buy a set of glasses and she walked on to another booth. And it was like, they were very accepting of us, I thought.
Once people find out that you're just not that scary, like
Two fat chicks in a booth selling glassware and giant stuffed goddess dolls. How
right,
scary is that? Come on.
like unless you know what it is, like it's like I don't know. Even if you know what it is, it's not that scary. It's just not that scary. It's
It's
only
not that
scary to a very
scary.
specific demographic.
But yeah, there was people, I saw people all day long that were from outside of our community that just happened upon the event and riding their bikes, walking their dogs, just came on in and participated, walked around to the different vendors, and it was great.
It was
Stopped
great.
and got hot dogs.
I'm really glad that because it does seem like the merchants did really, really well at that event, which is important to me, especially, you know, I didn't get to make money at that event, but it's important that my friends did. But it was a good day. We actually just got the contract for next year's. It's going to be the 21st of September.
Great.
So y'all mark your calendars now.
I will
Uh,
mark mine.
so it may seem self-aggrandizing to bring that up just because, I got the honor to be the person on fire for that event, which is the formal title for the the head of an event is. But the reason I brought that up is because I know I've said it on here before, but Metro Valley Pagan Pride is way, way more than just an English hard, y'all. Metro Valley Pagan Pride is far more than just an event. It is an entire community. It is a community project to build the kind of things that we want to see in the community. And one of the things that the community has really stepped up and said they wanted was a newsletter.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, that's your baby now.
It is my baby now, whether
You're,
for good or evil, it is mine. Do I use my powers for good or for evil?
here's something I have learned. You don't really get a choice. Like, this is not a cult. You can't, like, we didn't get to pick the people. Like, this was the community that was already just kind of scattered out, and we have gathered it up. So there's not been a lot of choice. You get the honor of heading it. It's an honorary position. It comes with a lot of respect and love from the community, and no pay.
And a lot of, if you screw it up, we're going to tell you about it.
Out. Listen, I have literally, because it has been my great honor to be the spark that has set this ablaze, but it has not been like I just picked people. Like, these are people who are already in the community. I'm like, okay, if this thing is going to be real, if it's going to be really of the real ass community, then this person needs to be invited. Like, I have totally set aside my ego. In fact, like, I can't tell you how many people, like, I would go to ask them, I wanted to talk to them, like, and I will get like a list of everything wrong in the community. I'm like, okay, how are we gonna fix that? I can And people have straight told me to my face that they thought I was a bit of a charlatan.
No.
Not like I'd say commercialized is probably a better way to put it. Not so much a charlatan.
Oh my
but, like,
God.
yeah.
For what purpose?
Well, I mean, because I'm out here making a show. I mean, I really am part showman.
But
Like,
you
more
have to
than
be.
more than most psychics. I will say that I am more showy than most psychics. I get the whole podcast thing going and all that. But I thought that was, and also because of a previous business association that just apparently, because of a previous business association, people had certain assumptions about myself as well. ADHD's a bitch.
Isn't it though?
You know what? That's what we can talk about in our other section. We'll talk about how it is to be neurodivergent and practicing.
I'm still learning.
Okay. If you don't feel comfortable talking about your neurodivergency, just let me know.
No, I'm fine with
I'll
it.
dig in.
I'm fine with it. I'm just learning. I'm just finding out I'm neurodivergent. I didn't know.
That's an interesting conversation to have, because, like, I was diagnosed in second grade, so I have a different perspective. Well, okay, so let's take it back to okay, so I bring up the Metro Valley Pagan Pride event, not to aggrandize myself, I promise, but to talk about, because you all know that Metro Valley Pagan Pride, there we go. You all know that Metro Valley Pagan Pride is way more than just an event. Broom Not Vroom is the big event that we have that has happened, and we've got another one coming, Ostara. We're going to try and start looking for the site. So there's no announcements around that yet until we have a contract in hand, until we know when and where it's going to be. We're not talking about it to the public, but I've definitely received some. That is not my idea. Sometimes what happens is people will start just hitting you with the same idea, and it'll come from different directions. And Lisa, I'm sure that you're familiar with this, because that's how we have come up with West Virginia Pagan Press.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that is.
Well, we kept hearing people talk about, I wish there was some way that we could find out about herbs or that are, local to the state. Or I wish there was some way that we could have a centralized calendar that told us what events were coming up for the state or the area. find out about maybe, I don't know, have a vendor spotlight or something. Anyway, bottom line boils down to people wanted a newsletter.
Yeah, and that is
They kept saying newsletter.
That's exactly
Newsletter.
How it happens too. That is exactly how it happens. I tell you what, something like, and then by the end of it, they're like, "Oh, that's a great idea." I'm like, "It wasn't mine. It was everybody else's that wouldn't shut the hell up."
So this newsletter has taken a life of its own. It has taken over my life, and I didn't have much of a life for it to take over with all the other things doing. I didn't realize I had that much free time, but
You really don't. But I tell you what, like, this is definitely one of those projects. This whole thing I've found out is a project that will make its way. Because it's like this is like an arm of the creature.
It's worming its way into me. It's like right. Eating its way into my brain kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think like about it when I go to bed at night. I'm thinking, oh, I need to write that down. I've started having a notebook by the bed because I'll wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I'll think of something and I have to write it down. It's a sickness. It really is. I'm beginning to think I need help.
Oh no!
I need an intervention.
This is what I tell you what, sometimes the hardest thing when you get a project like one of these grand life projects like this is learning how to delegate some of that stuff, how to keep it inside the box. Like, this is your box in my life. This is not a box that you have to be, creatively confined to. This is just the limit of space and time I have for this project. If it is more than what fits in this space and time, I'm going to need somebody else's space and time.
Right. So that's why I shanghaied Melissa. Melissa Sharp is my business partner with the Crafty Chameleon and Whimsy Crafts. So I shanghaied her as my assistant editor.
I just had have you talked to Mary about doing like a kids article? Like kids craft article? Mary and Cindy?
Do what?
We got never mind. We've got the homeschool one, don't we? Tell us a little bit about the articles. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We've grown from a newsletter size to a newspaper size. We have, and this is your baby. I owe this one entirely to you.
Sorry.
We have an astrologer. I love that. We have a freaking astrologer on staff. I love that. We have Dr. Stephanie Lanham. Huh?
I say, I am not an astrologer. That is the optimist. He's our astrologer.
We have a doctor of nutrition who's going to be writing about herbal nutrition, herbal herbs and their
medicinal properties. And you know what? I'll be interested to see where that goes, because even if she just does a generic, like, even if she just sticks to like nutrition, like how to get nutrition for homesteading or whatever direction, because you can take nutrition in so many different directions, and the pagan community is going to love it. So I am very interested in her article.
I was so excited whenever she agreed to do that.
Right. I didn't even think about that. Like, I had never once considered her because she's like kind of on the outskirts of my thinking. But like, I was like, oh, that's perfect.
It just came to me one day. I thought, well, let's ask her. And she has a bit of a podcast or a newsletter of her own, or she does classes or something, and she's going to recycle those into our newspaper. She teaches classes. That's what it was. And she's going to give us the information from her classes into our newspaper. We have a Nordic pagan tradition writer. We have a Polish pagan tradition writer, Polish folk magic.
Right, tell us a little bit about because that is definitely something we want. If you're going to write about that subject, you have to have experience on that subject. Can you tell us a little bit about the authors for those?
Well, Cindy has been with the Kindred for, I can't tell you how many years now, but she has been practicing the Nordic path for quite some time. So she has a lot of experience to pull from.
I actually know when the Kindred started because I remember her telling me the story. Do you remember the pagan pride that Colin had hosted that had the horrible protesters?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the Kindred started because a lot of them were helping walk people to their car, and that's how they met some of the original members.
Okay.
That's nice. The story I heard. I think obviously I would take whatever I say with a grain of salt. This is definitely second or third hand, but that's what I think. That's what I think they told me. That's how they had met, was through Colin's event. That was the kind of the birth of all this, really. Love his heart.
I bet he's just loving life right now. Loving the afterlife. Loving the afterlife.
Right. I'm not going to say
looking down on all this.
He would have loved it. He would have really loved it. Protesters and all.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that Megan Black is the one that's doing the
Polish folk magic.
Yeah.
She actually is translating or has translated books from Polish and is in the process of writing with another author her own Polish folk magic book. So she's going to be sharing some of that information with us, which I am excited to get to.
Me too. I want that book. I want to buy that book because she's been doing that for a while. Like, it's a little long. When you go to write a book like that, like, it's not right. And don't get me wrong, no book is fast. Even if you are a dedicated and diligent and, disciplined author, no book is going to go through quick. Like, it would still take a month for a good writer to get a decent fiction, but this is like a 3 and 4 year project.
Yeah, all the research,
the translating, because she basically had to learn. There wasn't just Polish. I thought it was Russian too, because isn't it this? It's a specific set, but it's not just Polish. It's the Whisperers, which is
there's more to it than just Polish.
Right. It's the Scandinavian, not Scandinavian.
I can't remember.
But yeah, I know that it's
there's a lot involved.
Yeah, there's a lot involved because she's been working on that project. Actually, if you all, we did a shameless self-promotion with her, and also she was on the psychic shopping episode for Earth Magic. Yeah, so she's one of them who's doing an article. And then we're doing an article too.
Yes.
Shameless self-promotion is going to be on there.
Yes, shameless self-promotion is going to be on there. And you have your article from instead of the Oval Office as president, it is going to be from...
We're the Pentagram office.
That's right. I thought that was so cute.
That was funny. Like, notes from the Pentagram office. I don't even really know. Like, I know we're going to have like a very, very basic, I know we wanted to have a little bit about, because that's going to be a more extended article from what I remember, like, because we're going to have all the events and just like short description of each event, but also, anything that is of concern in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say that, I'm probably going to end up bringing up, doing a little bit of because it's the first event. I want to talk the first newspaper. I'm probably going to talk about some of the oppression that we face. Like it's going to be a serious. This is going to be a serious community article. Things that we're facing in the community that we're dealing with as a community.
Good.
So right now, because of an incident that happened, um, we had some guy who came in and was a member of the KKK. Like somebody had to dig that up. Somebody sent us proof where he had been like he had been in I want to say indoctrinated, but that's not the word. Inducted in the KKK and was not disavowing them, and he was in our group, so we had to kick him out. So, like this first one may be all about pagan-specific dog whistles and
Yeah.
things like that. We have to watch out for.
And that's unfortunate, but it's needed.
Yeah, I mean that's a serious issue in our community that honestly is not something. Because I mean, I honestly, if you know my channel, you know, yeah, this is Madame Tortuga's Lounge. But if you watch on Dottie the Psychic, my original channel, then you know that I don't really shy away from the deep and ugly truth. I have some episodes on there where I went to protests and things before, and in fact, the video I'm working on for that right now is about some protests and things I've been to. So I don't know why it fell in my lap, but here it is. I never wanted to be political. They made me political by trying to outlaw me. That's a lot. Y'all, I'm a hot mess. I ain't even gonna apologize no more. That's part of the show. Okay, so tell us a little bit more, because I know we've got like, how many articles do we all have? I know we've got a kitchen article. I'm really excited about this article.
I think we've got 14 now.
Holy shit.
14 writers. 14 articles. We've got a kitchen corner. We've got a gem. She's going to write a monthly article on the gemstones of the month kind of thing. We've got the editor's letter of the month that's going to deal with whatever the full moon or holiday is that's coming up.
Ooh, can we wiggle a farmer's almanac report in there? Like these days are going to be good for haircutting and things like that.
Probably.
That'll be a good place for it, right there with the editor's notes. You're going to talk about like the full moon and new moon.
Probably. Yeah. Which brings up when we're going to publish. We will be publishing on, oh crap.
It was the 13th or 14th, wasn't it? It's the new moon.
We're going to be publishing on the new moon.
Which is terrifying. Not this new moon, the next new moon, thank God, because my article's not ready. But I'm kind of waiting till the...
Yeah, we're coming out November, I want to say 12th. It might be the 13th.
I'm looking at the new moon right now, trying to figure out when it is. Okay, so yes, it's the new moon in November, which is the 13th.
That's when it will be published.
'Tis a Monday. If you ask me, Monday the 13th is far more terrifying than Friday the 13th.
Yes. Any Monday is far more terrifying than Friday the 13th.
Any Monday is more terrifying than Friday the 13th.
Yes. But I think we have Taryn that is going to be covering sound therapy and sound baths and things like that. I'm trying to think. We have the Esoteric Book Club that does We're doing the synopsis. He's giving us a synopsis of his review.
I love Jason. I need to get him back on here. He actually has been on Shameless Self Promotion, but it was back when we were still live streaming. It was still the live stream format. That's how long it's been. Things are moving and shaking, folks.
Can't hold us back.
But I do love his podcast, the Esoteric Book Club. I know he posts because he's the reason we're doing it on the full moon or on the new moon, isn't it? Because he posts his big book report on the full moon, and then
he does one on the new moon and the full moon, and that's what got me thinking. We'll publish on the new moon, and everyone's articles are due on the full moon. So if anyone out there wants to donate.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to write an article for us, send it to us.
Right. Yeah. And no money off this just yet. It's all going to Metro Valley Pagan Pride for our next grand adventure.
That's right. But we're always looking for new authors. We're always looking for new authors. English are hard.
It is. So if you're looking for that newsletter, by the way, let me tell you, I forgot to tell you, we should have put this in the beginning, but we're going to be doing some other advertising, so it's not a big deal. But basically, it's going to be a part of your membership to Metro Valley Pagan Pride. So if you want to join Metro Valley Pagan Pride, you can do that through Metro MV Pagan Pride at the Patreon. It's on Patreon. It's Pagan Pride or MV Pagan Pride?
Yeah, it comes with your Patreon dues.
Yep. And we'll be sending that out. Also, there's going to be advertising with that too for all my fellow merchants.
Yes, we need to go talk to some merchants and see if they are interested in advertising with us.
Yeah, we got to figure out how. We still got to figure out. That is one thing we got to figure out. We'll probably figure that out after we get off of here. But I do know that we are offering, because we have 2 tiers. As a club, you get a basic membership, which would get you the newspaper, the newsletter, and also allows you to vote on things and things. And I can't remember. Let me look and see what they're. Let me look at this real quick. So basically, it makes you eligible to join council, which is the governing body. The governing body is the council, which she and I are members of, and we you don't just join the council. You have to be invited to the council. Basically, if you feel like somebody deserves to be on council, you can't nominate yourself. You can't apply for it. You have to be nominated from the community, and that includes the board, just anybody in the community. And then we will do a review process and invite you. But you're only eligible to be an active member of the community if you are also a voting member. And we do have I think we've got we call it honorary council. It's council, not committee. I've been calling it committee, but it's council. It's part of the show, folks. Just part of the show. But the active council is the one that makes decisions and does things like run a newsletter. Or what we're trying to get going now is a craft project. We're hoping to maybe use that as a cooperative project, maybe with some people, if we can get that going. So that's the first tier. That's only $3 a month. $3 a month, and really that is how we were able to pay for Metro Valley Pagan Pot. Broom Not Vroom. That's how we were able to do Broom Not Vroom without charging people an entrance fee. Which it's a pride, and we never want to charge an entrance fee. But that's basically how we were able to get the money to make that happen. And we've also, our second tier, there's only 2 tiers. The second one is metaphysical professional affiliate. And that's the one that's for merchants. Like she and I are gonna get free advertising out of it, and that's about it. That's not all you get as a metaphysical professional affiliate. You get reduced or free entrance fee to Metro Valley Pagan Pride events. You get a free ad in our newsletter, and that's all we've got going for now. But honestly, if you join, because remember, this is a community, so everybody,
along with everything else
yeah.
along with everything that the $3 tier member gets.
Right. That is an extension of the $3 tier. It is not like, so it's like that extra $9 for the merchanding, basically. Sign up today. You can also, like, honestly, it's cheaper to be a member than it would be to buy a copy of the newsletter, because the ways that we found to print it are going to be more expensive by far. But even like selling the electronic copy, and it's going to be worth it. Like this is getting to be a pretty hefty newsletter, because if each one of us, you say you got 14 writers, we haven't even really cracked into it, because I know there's going to be event writers, like guest event writers was one of the things we wanted to do. But to buy it from the website, I think we were going to set it at what, like $5?
$5, yeah.
Yeah. So you need just to buy an electronic copy, and you don't get to vote. You don't get to be a part of Metro Valley Pagan Pride. Just to buy a single copy is $5. But if you join us on Patreon for $3, then you get to actually participate in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Tell us a little bit more, because I know we have barely who else do we have writing for us? We've gotten down to the Esoteric Book Club.
Oh gosh. Let's see. We've got, I should have made notes. We've got Dr. Stephanie Lanham doing the nutrition. We've got Taryn Sears doing the sound bath. We've got Jason Rule doing the Esoteric Book Club. We've got Dottie the Psychic doing her monthly podcast. We've got Cindy Williams doing the Nordic Pagan. Megan Black doing the Polish folk magic. I'm
Nancy
forgetting
doing recipes.
We've got Nancy C. doing recipes.
I know we got Zach doing the Zodiac.
Zach is doing the Zodiac for us, the astrology for us. Melissa Sheriff is doing the gemstones.
Ooh.
I'm going to flip through my notes.
Okay.
Because my brain is shut down.
Right. And I know that we've got the occasional guest writer doing event reports.
Yeah, we've got a couple. Oh, we've got Shannon's article. Shannon did a lovely article for us on parenting,
pagan parenting.
We've got Chelsea doing pagan homeschooling.
Oh, okay. Take it back. Yeah, you're right. Chelsea's doing the pagan homeschooling, and then Shannon
did an article about her her experience kind of growing into her path.
Right. I do like the idea of, we have quite a few, I think we're probably going to have quite a few guest writers for different episodes. Editions.
We've got a couple of guest spots that are doing reviews of their slant on Broom Not Vroom. So, and hopefully we'll get some nice pictures in with that. Hint, hint.
We did not get a lot of media for Broom Not Vroom. I was kind of disappointed. But honestly, here's the thing about pagans. This is something that is just deep and true. Part of the reason that is easier to get a newsletter out of pagans than it would ever be to get any sort of actual media from the event is we are very much about the feeling of things. We're much about being in and present and alive to do things rather than trying to capture and record. So I did not get a lot of media from that.
Maybe we can I don't know, can we use the pictures that were taken?
We do have quite a few. Mostly of the entertainment. We've got some really good pictures of the of the performers.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've got any from like the drumming circle. I don't think I have any from our singer. I don't think I have really any from the merchants. We had a lot.
It would
of
have been nice if we'd had one like a shot, a wide angle of the whole field.
Yeah. I have to talk to. I don't know. Here's the thing. Like we had a guy who was taking pictures, but something happened with the camera and it went kaput. So I don't know how much space he had on his phone. I'll have to talk to. I'm not gonna say his name out loud because we're still recording.
Yeah, we'll talk to him and see.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about because she's on the council.
She's one of the authors of the article.
Yeah, I'm interested in this. Like, this is going to be a lot of fun because I was really kind of struggling with what I was going to write as the president. But now that I think about it, I think that probably should be like mine should probably be the article that makes people stop and think and just be aware of their environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be good. You can be the more serious voice.
Right. And if, you know, if something else happens in like the community that we all need to be aware of, like if they're trying to push back, if they're trying to push through some shitty legislation, because I'll never forget how much people panicked when they were like, they were kind of spreading the "In God We Trust" and everywhere. I'm like, I know it's not okay. We're all not okay with it, but also we have to be careful when we see something like that because that means that people who are more likely to set us on fire are getting a little brave.
Yeah.
Well, I know what my job is now. I'm the panicky bitch. I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm not sorry. This is the way. Like, you knew what you were getting into.
I kind of knew because I know you.
Yeah. I am the same person in real life as I am on camera.
Yes, she is. Honestly, she is.
I know
what you see is what you get.
You know what? I take that as a compliment. I really do. I think I'm entertaining as hell.
You are.
Okay, so tell me again about how people, because I know that we definitely want to get people involved in the newsletter. Should definitely check that out. Keep up with us on Patreon. I think we were also talking about maybe doing like some sort of news report for YouTube, which we could probably do off of the newsletter on the full moon. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we do have a YouTube channel for Metro Valley Pagan Pride, so that should be interesting. We got to figure out what we're going to do with that.
I'm going to learn how to edit videos to do that. So that should be fascinating to watch.
I know that we could.
Yeah, because I'm not camera shy either. So the Crafty Chameleon followers know that for a fact. We have, oh crap, what did you ask me?
I forgot. Which
Oh God.
brings us up to, you know what, here at Patreon, we're probably going to talk about what it means to be neurodivergent and trying to keep your shit together to make a whole ass paper and a whole ass community work. That might be our Patreon topic, so just watch out for that. But I think we were talking about, I know we're getting towards the top of the hour, so we were talking about some last ideas about what we were going to try and accomplish with the newsletter, because we're going to use a lot of that money. Hopefully, if we can make enough money off this project, if we can get enough Patreon patrons involved from this project, then we can start doing some real things with the money. Like, I know we talked about, and we're not putting any real information out yet because we don't have a site and a date. But once we've got a contract for a site on a date, then we were planning on doing an Astara event. And I know that we need to, don't forget to check out Metro Valley Fang Pride on Patreon, but also Crafty Chameleon on Facebook and Instagram, because you got to
That's
make money
right.
too.
The Crafty Chameleon artist.
The Crafty Chameleon
Because the
artist.
Crafty Chameleon was already taken, believe it or not.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly. Probably not even used, which is sad.
Yeah. And
Also,
I got to catch up my Instagram.
oh, girl, I gotta tell you what. Like, here's the thing: trying to find, this is something else we might talk about on Patreon. Trying to maintain a balance between a massive community project that you want to see happen in the community that you know you're not making money on, and maintaining an income is hard. Um, I know that we have talked some major talk about trying to start grant writing, and we're going to try and get that set up, but we need to really talk to somebody because we're eventually going to shift over. Hopefully we're going to try and get like enough people from around the state involved before we reach that point, because we want to be, all over, because that's kind of what we're doing with this newspaper. We're getting pagans from all over the state involved in this newsletter. And we want to get every organization out there involved in Metro Valley Pagan Pride. Like, I want to have contacts and connections everywhere so that we are truly the pagan community.
Right.
So we can watch out and take care of each other and build the social programming we want. Because I can't tell you how many people have started programs and nobody's heard of them. Like, I didn't know that if you go to a lot of these hospitals, they have pagan clergy on call. Did you know that?
No.
Phoenix was telling me that somebody had back in 10 years ago had tried to volunteer, but they never get called out because nobody ever requests it. People don't know. So a lot of this newsletter is getting that kind of information out. So like big projects, we're going to try and do articles on big projects. And I think that might be something like if whoever decides to do a big project can do like an article on it, describing it to us, and then we can post that. Okay, so tell us a little bit more about, let's focus this in a bit. Of course, you all know that you can find all the links below. And you all know that we're both a big part of Metro Valley Pagan Pride, but let's take this last 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, and focus on the Crafty Chameleon artist.
Well, the Crafty Chameleon is slowly wrapping up the season. We are getting ready to hibernate. Do they hibernate? I think they hibernate. This one hibernates.
Fair enough.
We've got a couple more shows to go. We're doing the Capital City Arts and Crafts Fair, the big one at the Civic Center that the Lions Club puts on. That's 3 days. So that one's long and tiring. That one's November 17th through the 19th.
I'm probably gonna.
We are doing December 2nd, a little one at St. Albans High School for the FCCLA, the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America Club. It's their fundraiser. So they're doing some type of craft and vendor show. So we're going to do that. But after that, we're going to be on hiatus for a while, trying to think up new ideas And of course, we're always open for business. We'll be taking special orders if anyone likes to order anything for a special event. Huh?
Now is the time to do special orders.
Yes. We always recommend giving us at least a week's notice, because it does take about 3 to 5 days if you're wanting glasses made, especially. Really, anything we make takes about 3 to 5 days to get from start to finish.
Drying time, probably, I'm sure.
You got the dry time, and with the glassware, you have the bake time too. You have to let them dry a certain amount of time, and then you have to bake them in the oven, because they are top rack dishwasher safe. Yeah, fancy schmancy. But then we have nothing coming up until probably March.
Hopefully Ostara.
Yes. Hopefully that's our next show.
I'm excited.
It'd be nice if we got to enjoy some of it too.
Yeah, I don't expect to. I don't expect to enjoy any of it. I expect to be running my head off. And we don't have a date or location for that yet. So there's no promises. That's not announced or anything like that. We do have a couple of sites that we're looking at. Depending on how north or south we want to go. So be keeping an eye out for that. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you letting me talk over top of you the way I do.
It was fun.
It's always a good time.
Yes.
Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to announce, you want the people to know?
Just keep an eye out for the Crafty Chameleon. I do lives. I have a Facebook group where I post regularly every day. Come check us out. And watch for that newspaper. Sign up for the newspaper. Sign up for Patreon.
Okay, folks. So definitely check out the Facebook group. We should have dug more into that. That would be cool. You say you do daily lives. What kind of lives do you do? Just show off?
Just if I have a new product that I've made, I put that up, or if I've got some crazy idea that I want to run by people to see if they like the idea of it or not. Sounding board kind of thing.
Okay, that sounds like fun. I'm excited to check this out. Of course, the link is in the description, folks, or it should be by the time you see this. Recording time is weird. Time is weird in and of itself, but when you're trying to record something that's going to be in the future, it's extra weird. So, thank you for coming on to Shameless Self-Promotion. Definitely check her stuff out. And of course, you can check me out at dottieThepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Shameless Self-Promotion right here in Madame Tortuga's Lounge, hosted by Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to hear more of this interview and maybe help out, support the channel or whatnot, you can totally go to Patreon/DOTTIE the Psychic. And if you'd like to see what other craziness I'm into, check out dottieThepsychic.com. Safe travel and much profit to you.